Gurukul days to the age of rote learning that came in, and now the technology-enabled learning that has really come in. How do you see this transition, this journey of education in India that has really taken place?
I think that the real transition has happened in the last 5 or 6 years when the technology has really entered our classrooms. And apart from technology entering our classrooms, technology entering our daily lives as well. So as educators, as teachers, as schools, we have been exposed to a lot of information coming from across the world. Earlier, everyone seemed to be till, I would say, early 2000s. Schools kept teaching the way they were teaching the last 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. There was change was very minimal. The same kind of structures of buildings and of course with new materials, but similar, the actual teaching learning process in the classroom was exactly the same. Nothing was changing, nobody was innovating. Everybody felt constrained that the government laws are so strict, education is tightly controlled, it's regulated, there's nothing much you can do. There was no place for private players. Government, of course, was not doing a very good job with education. So people did not really think about education. So anybody who had the right intellectual capability to innovate, to think, to be creative, would not look at education as an option. But I think last 6-7 years, with the advent of education companies, with the advent of public listing of education companies, suddenly the limelight came into that this is a sector. And yes, there can be profit-making models as well within this whole structure. So there were incentives to innovate, to think and say, okay, let's be creative. So here there are companies coming from into the non-profit sectors, coming with innovative ideas. The schools are getting exposed to best technology through the internet. They're reading, they're watching YouTube videos, they're seeing things. And as Indians also, we are becoming more affluent, that we can travel now. So this exposure that has come up suddenly from all sides, from the internet, from our travels, from companies who are saying this is how you should teach. So schools are now changing and then realizing that yes, the way we have been teaching for so many years cannot continue into the next 20 years. And then at the same time, what's also shaking this whole foundation of schools is new schools opening up now. Suddenly we have a lot of new age schools opening, and that's changing the state of schools. That's breaking the monopoly of established players. So I think all in all, this is creating a very, very healthy environment for children at the end of the day, because they are now getting access to all these resources. They're getting access to teachers who are now thinking out of the box, who are saying, okay, how do I make my lessons more engaging, interesting? School management is saying, hey, that we can't just sit the way we've been doing for the last 50 years. Let's be innovative. What else can we do? How do I compete with the new schools who's coming up in my neighborhood? So all this is eventually, who's benefiting from all this? Why are we all here? It's for the child, right, at the end of the day. So the child is benefiting at the end of the day. And I think this is a very, very healthy sign. And as I see that as years go by, people are all talking about the inverse school model, where the child learns at home but comes to school already prepared. So you don't enter a class blank. So every child knows different levels. The teacher just teaches to a few group of students and goes back. Now children are expected to come, learn the video, watch some videos, watch some interesting content about the subject. So he already knows the basics of, say, plant germination. He comes to school, and now it's more engaging and everyone's very clear on the topic. So we're already talking about very innovative models being accepted by the government, by CBSE, by ICSE, and also by parents as well. So all in all, I think it's wonderful for the kids.
Right, and sir, as you said that we have imbibed technology in almost everyday teaching learning process in schools. But where do you think India stands compared to other countries in this particular sector, use of technology in schools?
See, technology for the sake of technology is not a good idea, and a lot of the initial initiatives, if technology usage in the schools were just that, here's a technology, and I think this fits in the school. So people would kind of try to push things down the school's throat. And so now schools have wisened up to that. We realize that technology for the sake of technology is not a good idea. However, with that, schools have best practices. There are a lot of best practices being researched by private companies. Delivery of all these best practices at a national scale. We have a huge student population. How are we going to achieve that? We can't have, okay, this is a good principal, this is a good teacher. And that's just 30 kids for a teacher. Now, how are you going to scale up to the whole of the country? The only way to do it, and in a cost-effective manner, is using technology. Technology is very, very important. So it's not that you start with technology and say, okay, we need to be more technology-enabled than the world. We are number 5, but we better get to number 3 before anybody else does. That's not the point. We have to look at, we are a very unique market because the leading countries who are using a lot of technology are developed countries mostly, who have the resources, where every child already has access to very high quality education being given by the government or private players. Here we are in a very unique situation where the government does not have unlimited funds. Private players cannot set up profit-making schools, but still, as we need to find a solution to this, and the solution is that technology has to be used. So I cannot rank them and say, okay, we are. But what I'm seeing is that very, very innovative models of low-cost education delivery are being created in this country. They're being created here, which are only relevant for India only. So you can't compare them with why Japan are using. So are we number one in that? Yes, we may be number one in that particular technology. So I think, but the usage is definitely going to grow. It's not a fashion trend where today is going to come and tomorrow technology is going to go out. It's becoming a daily part of our daily lives. So I think yes, I think the increasing years will be more and more accepting it. Teachers are now seeing that. Initially, we used to hear things like teachers saying that if technology enters my classroom, will I be replaced? But the teacher, they have these kind of insecurities. Now they're saying that technology is not replacing them; it's empowering them. They're becoming like superheroes now. I mean, okay, you don't understand this. Here, wait. Pull up YouTube, do a search for a volcano eruption. You can see volcano eruption, their mouths are open. The teacher's like a superhuman being, otherwise she's trying to, अच्छा नहीं समझ आया, you can't understand this concept. She tries once or twice, okay, meet me after class, or you do it in your tuition class. There should be answers like that, because she didn't know she's helpless. So technology is really, and so the acceptance of technology and its ability to empower the teacher is now it's I think universal in India. And I think with newer models that come in, the acceptance will even grow faster.
And so you come from a huge group of schools and you have large number of schools under your umbrella. So in that sense, I would like to ask you, what can be done to enhance the inclusiveness in education? What steps should be taken further?
See, when it comes to educating this country, there are different players in this market. There is the government is there, the NGOs are there, and the private players are there. And everyone has their role and responsibility. What private players and NGOs have realized is education, fortunately, can be replicated at a very low cost as well. And we see, and some of our schools are at a very, very low price point. And if I say quote that price in a metro city, people will be horrified. They'll be thinking this is a pathetic school. But in that small city, that's also a fee of 400, 500 rupees. It's very aspirational for them. They think that's the best school in the city. And it's a very low cost. It's what a laborer would earn on the Rozgar Yojana in 2 days. That's 2 days of salary, and here I'm teaching a child for a month. So it's very, very affordable for. So one is that what private players will look at is, yes, we want to. If I set up an elite school in that city, it will never work. Nobody's going to pay me 1,000 rupees in that city. So if I have to be creative and say, okay, like so this is the market. Kids want good education. There is no good school here. What kind of fee can I charge, and can I make it viable for everybody? If it's viable, then only will I invest my land, my building. Otherwise, why would I do it? At the same time, I want to set up a school because it gives me a lot of status, it enhances my image, it's a lot of satisfaction that I've done for my community. So all these things have to work. If any of this doesn't work, then the model falls. So for us, we look at very low cost models in areas where children have access to not enough, the quality of education is very, very bad. And in such areas, we've seen, we opened a school and we get 400 admissions, 500 admissions the first year. If I was to open a school in Gurgaon, my target would be 125 in the first year. That will be a target. And here in these towns, because there is no good quality schooling, but I've cracked that by setting my fee at an affordable point. I know how to control my costs in a way that children get good quality education. They get if I was to open in Gurgaon, they get 90% of the same quality of education. Maybe there are no ACs, the flooring is very basic. Instead of every class having an interactive whiteboard, I will have one in the whole school, so children will go by rotation. I'll try and utilize my money in a way that makes sense. So I think inclusiveness, there is a responsibility that private players can do. Beyond a point, I mean, there will be obviously somebody who cannot even afford 400 rupees as well. So for that, the government has to play its role. So I've never advocated that the government should stop, educating children and leave it to the private players. No, everyone has their role. And I just feel that the government should be more encouraging to the private players as well, because this country needs a lot of investment, a lot of mind, a lot of intellect, a lot of research. And a more conducive environment would be very, very healthy for our children.
And so, to conclude the entire conversation, how has your been experience with School Leadership Summit and such platforms that are given where all the stakeholders with the school education come together and discuss very pertinent issues related to the education sector in India? So how has it been your experience?
Yeah, I think when I was discussing the factors of what has changed and what has been responsible for change, digital learning, I mean, has been a change driver. I mean, I totally missed out. I'm sorry for that. Right from your sessions to your magazines, you've been disseminating knowledge to people who may not have internet access, who go through these articles. You become and exhibitions as well, and your forums are all platforms for people to connect. The discussions that we have in these, and I've always been a part of it, and you've always been very kind and invited me. And I feel that these things make you think. Even if I'm a speaker, I mean, the questions that come, you make me think, am I on the right track? I question myself as well. I'm sure that's what the audience also feels. We are all involved in day-to-day work, firefighting, and then we come here, take a day out, come for the expo, and then we wonder, am I on the right track? I mean, sometimes these things, a single thought can actually change the direction for the school. And for a school, if it's a small thing to say for a school, but that's 3,000 kids whose lives have changed just because of one day. So I think it's an amazing investment that every school leader should do. It's very difficult for anybody to take time out, and I've always felt that, no, it's very, because when I look back, today I might feel, I mean, I have so much work in office. A principal might feel that, she has so much work, their two parents have to come, there's a transport issue, somebody inspections coming up. How can I leave my everything and just sit there and listen? I mean, after a year, she'll think, okay, that one day was so good. That one day investment in attending this conference has been so productive. So it's like the car had a fourth gear. I didn't know about it, and I'm driving third gear and wondering why am I not, winning my race. So I think it's excellent, and you as a platform from your magazines to your exposition have been getting people, companies to interact with the principals and schools as well, showcasing best practices, ideas. Shortlisting wonderful speakers. So I think I think you've done a fabulous role to contribute to the future of this nation. And congratulations on being part of it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Happy to have you, yes. Thank you.